So a lot of people are addicted to the ups and downs. A lot of people are addicted to the roller coaster, and that's just not good for us, right? It's never been good for your nervous system. It's definitely not good for your mental or spiritual health. Mushin, welcome. And anyone who seeks to stay regulated when everything is dysregulated, I am honored to support because you really have to want to stay well these days with all the distractions that abound. So it is my honor to hold space for all, whether you watch contemporaneously or whether you watch it on recording. And the next one is going to be the night before the debate. So just know that now. If people show up or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of a moving target as always. So, but I'll be here the day before the purported debate because people, there's so much going on in the zeitgeist. And so consistently coming together, whatever the number, if it's 70, if it's seven, consistently coming together to hold space for peace is the work of the Lord, right? And it's my honor to do this work in community with you. I'd love for each of you to type what's present for you now, where you are in the world, and to put a little spice into the equation, if you were to give yourself a superpower, yo, I'm really great at this, what's your superpower? Let's be a little pensive and introspective for ourselves. Because I believe in the coming weeks, each of us are going to have to access our superpowers and manifest them on this planet in ways that we never knew possible. So, what's present for you? Where are you in the world? And what's your superpower? So, Andrea, welcome. The questions for us are what's present for you? Where are you in the world? And if you were to like kind of brag on yourself a little bit and say, my superpower is this, what is it? So I'll lead by saying I'm in Anne Arundel County, Maryland, the unceded territory of the Piscataway Indians, between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Um, my superpower is being a benevolent disruptor and a convener of a convener of strangers, right? Like so, benevolent disruption and convening strangers. And what's present for me is tremendous joy, y'all. I taught my black male healing retreat last week. It's the third ever at this place called Kripalu. So if you've ever been to Kripalu, imagine 11 black dudes just being our lovely selves in this non-black environment. And the ages were from 30 to 70. So it was intergenerational, inter-identity, like two queer families showed up and were just as queer and lovely as they, it was a celebration of black healing that just don't happen often. So like to be healthy enough to hold that space, to be able to influence a stodgy institution like Kripalu. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you're seeing teeth in my mouth that got pulled years ago because my smile is just right. So that's what's going on with me. Um, Mushim says appreciation is present. Oakland and superpowers creativity. Ashe. Excitement for a new phase of life. Superpower, I bring people together. Shout out to that. Superpower is conquering. Okay, Beth, what's up? Shira? Warrior princess. Damn, okay. Respect.
I
Love that.
stole that from an affirmation from this morning. It was literally a minute of, an hour of warrior goddess badass. So yeah. It worked.
Well, awesome. It's stuck. You did it this morning and stuck till the evening. Now that's great. That is great. Connecting people and appreciating them. Love that. Cool. So, thank you all for playing. It's a delight to be present with you and share a little bit and not be so serious, right? You know what I mean? Everything is so serious these days. Like, so talking about your superpower, it is serious business. Like during the healing retreat last week, one of the young guys said something ill of magic, and I was a young buck. Do not speak ill of that which you don't know. Right. Do not speak ill of the ancestors. Do not speak ill of magic. Like I live in those worlds, and you're really just tread lightly, sir. Like, energy is very powerful these days. Like, I see this, whatever. Like, you can make jokes, but don't make those jokes in my presence because I'm not getting struck by your lightning. I'm all right. I already had a stroke. I'm good. Um, so, what's present for me is getting back to spiritual practice. Thanks, Deb. Superpower is being highly organized. My partner is highly organized. God bless her. Like I am a creative. I'm like the Tasmanian devil, and she ain't. So we form a good partnership because I'm highly creative, and I need a highly organized person in my life. And so you can imagine our clashes are delightful. This needs to be in its place. It is in its place. Oh God, thanks Deb for that. Thanks for that laugh. Cool. Well, walking out on faith. I mean, you kind of have to, Keisha. Like that's life these days, it seems. Well, thank you all for sharing. I'd love to lead us into a practice of centering and grounding and just becoming present to where we are. So, whatever you need to do for the next minute or so, if that's rub the palms together, if that's shake, if that's give a shimmy, but allow the body to do something fluid and not rigid. If your wrists have been like this all day, undo that. If your fingers have been like this all day, undo that. If you've been like this, give space, right? So be open and fluid and just be kind to the body. If the body's asking for something, kindly offer it to it. Then maybe you take fingers and do a little tap on the face. We all carry stress in our jaw. Maybe it goes to the neck, maybe it goes to the ear. Like, so just start here at the jaw because everyone's got something there. And then allow that tap to go anywhere it needs to go. Like subtle benevolent disruptions to stress what gets calcified. Then do something kind for your eyes. So maybe that's pressure on the eye, maybe that's dancing the fingers around the eye. But again, just be present with the disrupting stress in the face. 5 more seconds of this. Now come to some level of stillness. Maybe place one hand on the heart, one hand on the abdomen to ground more with the breath, or maybe you place palms on the knees for grounding, whatever you need in this moment. Maybe you place one hand over the heart, the other hand over that hand. Just place hands in a manner that gives you what you need. So be a little bit intuitive here. And just allow the day to fall away. Feel into the connection with the ground as an anchor. We often think of the ground as something that we walk upon or that just happens to be there. In this moment, feel tethered to the earth as a partner. And from this tethering, maybe the shoulders can relax more, because if the ground is your partner, you don't have to work so hard. As the mind settles into the connection with the ground, maybe the face softens a bit more, maybe the shoulders soften, maybe you can breathe a little deeper. Speaking of the breath, let's take 3 of them together. Inhaling through our nose, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentle pause. Exhale out nose or mouth, whichever feels more awesome. Yes, that's the cue. Inhale through the nose, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentle pause. Exhale out nose or mouth, whatever feels more awesome. Let's go to lucky number 7. Inhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause. You guessed it, exhale out nose or mouth, whatever feels more awesome, spacious, and gracious. Now assume a breath pattern that is comfortable and lightly kept. So let the breath be what it is, don't manipulate it too much. Feel the body being supported by the ground and the breath. And in your heart space, lean into the connection we all share in this moment. As individuals arrayed across the country in this moment in time on this call, but also the connection that we share with all beings, even those we don't necessarily agree with. That is very hard, I know, but that's why we practice. And as you sense into our mutual connection, let your heart be light, mind to be clear, and feet grounded for about 30 seconds of silence. Then I will play a tone to end the meditation. Silence starts now. Allow the light harmonic of this new tool I own to gently awaken the body. Maybe that's a shimmy in the shoulders. Maybe you bring fingertips together and gently rub them together. Maybe you do a light touch with fingers on the face. But whatever you need to do to release the meditation with grace, please do so. And then gently re-land in our collective space. Welcome back. Never gets old. God, meditation is so great. I wish I knew about this in my 20s. Man, I'd have spent so much less money on bourbon. So, what are we going to, just being honest, what are we going to talk about tonight? So, whether you're paying attention to the election vividly or not, you cannot help but get a whiff of the sprint, right? I was on a call earlier today because Mushim knows this because I was joking on a call we were on earlier this week. I still have two toes in the political world. Like it used to be like a whole body and two, whatever. So there's two toes. And I was on this call. Yeah, exactly. Like I was on this call where people they had just gotten back from Chicago, totally overdid it at the convention, right? So whether it be hungover or overjoyed and all these things, and they were just exhausted. And they're like, Reggie, can you ground us? I was like, this is why I wasn't in Chicago, because I knew that you would call me on the Monday after Chicago to ask me to help you bring you back to earth. So everyone's talking about there's 70 days left. And listen, there is already urgency in a campaign, whether you are on the campaign or not. Like the stakes and all the things, like the diminishing timeline in and of itself has its own stressors. Speaking in a rushed tone, talking about, oh, it's 69 days and 12, like all that stuff, you're just really trying to give yourself high blood pressure, right? So like there's manufactured urgency that's almost ubiquitous, on top of whatever anxiety one might feel. So what does that do? It keeps our ability from experiencing the present moment. It almost obliterates it. Who here watched the Olympics a couple weeks ago? Right? That was only about 2 weeks ago. People forgot about that thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, France is so beautiful. Everything is great. Oh my goodness, like camaraderie around the world. Like that sense was so present with folks. That joke is gone. You know what I mean? Like Olympic joy, pure, right? So that's what's happening now with some folks in the convention land. They're like, oh man, that was so last week. I was like, last week was like 3 days ago, first of all. Like, second of all, the amount of joy that was expressed in that, it should like keep some folks for the rest of their life. Because like as someone who's worked in Democratic Party politics for a quarter century, I wasn't in Chicago and I didn't watch that much, but I ain't seen people that happy at a political event ever. And I've been doing this since 2000, ever. Like people weren't that happy when Obama won almost. It was just like 4 days of just and now on the Monday, the people are already like over how joyful they were last week. Woo! What do we hold on to, right? Like, where do we place our attention? Like, if everything is going so quick. So tonight's election protection, because again, what election protection is all about, like my gift to you as a human and a teacher. The best gift I can give to you, election protection, is a clear mind, open heart, and a regulated nervous system to be present with what is comfortable in your body for you to do to make yourself happy and help all of us live better lives. Right? That's what election protection is about. You know, can we regulate our nervous system, be rooted, open, clear, and from that trifecta move forward with love, honestly, as opposed to anxiety and all the other things. So my question is like, what do we hold on to and why do we let go so quickly? So if the Olympics were so beautiful, why is it so passe? Like if like the convention was so beautiful and I feel hope again, why are people seeking to keep it? Like, why is it so passe? You know what I mean? It's in a cultured sense that on to the next thing. Like these things right here are killing us because it's always something new. So tonight, what I'm hopeful to do is we're going to hold our attention and practice a rain practice. So for those of you like in the mindfulness space or familiar with the mindfulness space, we're going to do rain practice so that we can be present with our emotions and like cultivate the skill of discerning what to do about them as opposed to being, oh, that was great, and then on to the next thing. Like that ain't helping nobody. So two things before we do that. one thing I want us to all remember, it's kind of a cliche, but it bears repeating, is that energy flows where attention goes. So if your attention and intention are scattered, you will have the most robust, scattered emotional tree ever, right? You're watering the intentions of being scattered like that's what will manifest. Um, and in my life, here's what that means. By specifically choosing to go to Kripalu last week to heal myself and like help heal another 11 other black men and not the convention, I prioritize my healing and other people's healing, and I am so nourished and fortified right now, I could like fly. Right? So by intentionally choosing to focus on something that was nourishing and enduring, for me, which is different for other people, but for me, um, like I said, if I could show you the wisdom teeth that I got pulled years ago, that's how big my smile is because like it's from my soul. Like one person told me up there, like, you're so happy. I was like, I didn't think I was going to be able to walk again. I didn't think I was going to be able to teach again. I didn't think I was going to be able to do any of this stuff. So not only do I have the stamina, I have the resilience and the opportunity. Glory, as we say in my tradition. So for those of you that haven't done rain practice, rain means this: recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So we bear witness to emotions that are present with us and we give them the space to be. We gently interrogate them to notice if it's joy that's present with us. How do we feel that? Where do we feel that? And once we gain this knowledge, we can be better equipped to choose things to make us feel that way, to focus our attention on things that make us feel that way. If it's an uncomfortable emotion, they have their place too, right? So it's about creating space, not running from it, because I know from all my grief work personally and as a facilitator and healer, you can run as fast as you want from grief. It's actually like running beside you. Right, right. You can't outrun it, like, because it's like as soon as you turn around, it's right there, right? You know what I mean? So, learning how to skillfully hold emotions that we'd rather not deal with gives us compassion, grace, not just for ourselves, but for other people who are going through some stuff. Yeah. So, and let's just be honest, if we're living in stormy times, we need to learn how to dance in the rain, right? We need to learn how to dance in the rain. What's up, little homie? I see you, brother. Peace, dude. Every time I see a kid's face, I lose it. So shout out to Beth and little homie in the picture.
Say hi, Ezra. That's Reggie. Hi.
Hey, buddy. Good to meet you, man.
Okay.
Are you one of my yoga teachers?
I'm one of those yoga teachers, brother. I promise you. Good to meet you, friend. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back into practice,
Okay.
scan the body and see what emotions are present. Then I'm going to ask you to focus on one. Focus on that. We'll go through that. So maybe you need to shake off the hands. Maybe you need to shake the shoulders. But do what you need to do to re-enter a period of practice. It may be the same thing we did earlier. It may be something altogether different. But be kind to yourself and respond to what the body is asking you. Maybe you need to lay down. Maybe you need to lay your head down. No, you don't necessarily have to be upright. Just be comfortable. Acquaint yourself with the breath. So in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Just create space. Let the body know we're okay. and begin to focus your attention internally. Reconnect to the ground, reconnect from the heart space to yourself and other people. And just soften into this moment with each other and with yourself. Now begin to gently inquire what feelings and emotions are present right now. They could be the same as you mentioned earlier. It could be something altogether different. And if there's more than one emotion present, sense into what might be more prevalent. There is no right or wrong. We're just bearing witness. And as you settle on the emotion that is most prevalent, gently name it. So recognize what is present for you and name it. And maybe you begin to have conversations with, like, hello, joy, or hello, frustration. And recognize the emotion that is making itself present for you. About 4 or 5 breaths, just recognizing and recognizing what's present in its entirety. Where do you feel it? How can you name it? At the bottom of the next exhale, allow the fullness of that emotion to be present with you. There's nothing to hide from here. There's nothing to diminish. There's nothing to run away from. We are in loving circle, connected at the heart, doing this work together. So in our culture, we're taught to run away from hard things. Let's be present with it. Just allow it to be what it is. Adjust the breath to make space for what we're allowing to be. Bottom of the next exhale, begin to investigate a little deeper. So, do you feel it in multiple parts of the body? How does it impact your heart rate? Did your hands clench? Just investigate how this emotion and feeling are manifesting, and just take note of how it's showing up. Again, without judgment, there is neither right nor wrong. Things just are right now. Bottom of the next exhale, be nurturing to what is present. We've recognized, we've allowed, we've investigated. Be nurturing and kind to what you've borne witness to. And if it's a difficult emotion that's arisen, maybe you place one hand on the heart, maybe you place a hand on the cheek, maybe you place hands on the body. Just be tender to yourself. And if you're present with what is not a difficult emotion, rather than it be a fly by night, how can you nurture it to remind yourself, this is how I feel when I'm joyous? Or happy or excited or so allow your compassion towards self to lovingly hold space for whatever has shown up. Whatever 3 deep breaths look and feel like to you, please take them, each exhale being a clearing of any complicating factor towards being present and compassionate towards yourself. Now drop attachment to whatever emotion we've spent time with now. Maybe you repeat to yourself, I am breathing in on the inhale, I am breathing out on the exhale, to focus the mind on something other than your emotional state. Bear witness to how it feels and felt to hold space for that emotion in community as well. Then scan your emotional landscape one more time. And if there is an emotion that's present for you that is the opposite of what you just held space for, begin to recognize and interrogate that. If you are good to go where you are, stay in this place of gratitude and spaciousness and grace. And whatever you've chosen to focus on, recognize what's present for you. Name it. Again, perhaps even speaking to it as opposed to making it an object, make it a subject. Then allowing the fullness of whatever it is to show up. There's no wrong way to do this. There's no wrong way to be. So just allow what is present for you to be present, and do not allow any suppression to take place. investigating what has shown up. So, where do you feel what you're feeling? How does it impact your breath, your posture, your facial expressions? Do your feet shift? Just investigate all the different ways that this feeling impacts the body, the breath, the mind. Then nurturing whatever you come up with, again, being kind to whatever shows up. You may be placing a hand on the heart, a hand on the chest. If it's something that is uncomfortable a bit, maybe you say something like, "You are welcome here. It is good to see you." If it is something that is not complicated or uncomfortable, how can you be present with it and not allow it to be fleeting as a doom scroll on a smartphone? Again, whatever 3 breaths feel like to you, deep full inhale and exhale, anything that gets in the way of you being nurturing to yourself. Think of this as the last dance with this emotional state right now. Then release your attention on the last emotion and just shift your awareness to the fact that each of us, there are 12 of us on the call, have been in deep, abiding compassion with ourselves for the past little bit. And maybe offer compassion to a specific member of the circle or a specific person in your life that needs a little nurturing, that needs a little tenderness and compassion in the same way that we have just given ourselves and one another. Always being present that as we do our work on ourselves with ourselves, may the merit of our work be a benefit to the alleviation of suffering for all people, whether we know them or not. So instead of focusing on yourself, I know that can be a bit hard, send good feeling to someone in the circle or someone in your life. Again, because everyone's going through something right now. And may the kind work we've done with ourselves be of service and a balm to them. As you're ready, gently open the eyes. Allow sound to be a conduit for releasing the meditation. Welcome back. Now take a moment or two. If there's some journaling you'd like to do, if you need to get up and walk around, we're going to transition toward a sharing circle. But take a few moments to process. Maybe you need to go off camera, maybe you need to get a drink of water, just whatever you need to do for you. That is a practice I love to teach and I love to be a part of, and I don't do it nearly enough. What's for dinner, Andrea? I don't mean to put stress in your life, my bad. Right on. So about another minute or two. And if you're ready, we'll do. If people are ready to share what came up for them, please do. Again, and also don't feel any obligation to share nothing if you don't want to. But the goal of what I was hopeful for in this practice is that, again, the culture is going to turn up the treadmill. And it is up to us. We ain't got to get on the treadmill if we don't want to get on the treadmill. We can be very present with our emotions and do kind things for ourselves while other people are running ragged. I mean, there's a part of me, I'll be honest, as someone who has been to, I was at the 2004 convention, I helped run the 2008 convention, I probably single-handedly saved the 2016 convention. That's a story for my book I haven't written yet. So there's a part of me, about 5%, that really wanted to be in Chicago because how am I going to miss this important moment? But then Spirit was like, yeah, you got other stuff to do, brother. Heal yourself and other people. Like, be serious about your healing work. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to do work and to help people heal. So that is what I've been present with for the past week or so. And I was present with all those emotions. I was present with like, yeah, this is kind of weird. But then I was like, but you know what's not weird? Doing beautiful things for my people. Like, that's definitely not weird. So if anyone has anything they'd care to share about the exercise or what's present with you or the journey we took together, I'm all ears. And if not, that's cool too. So floor is open. Either raise your hand or if you want to put something in the chat, go for it. Starting now. Go ahead, Andrea, and then Jayanti.
Hi.
Hey,
Thanks for doing this, for hosting this.
it's the honor of my heart.
I can tell. I think you kind of said this in the beginning, like, wow, meditation is just so great and so healing. And, I've, like everyone, there's a lot going on right now. And the rain exercise, the thing that I felt this time was by the time we got to investigate, nurture the emotion I was working with, which was really like a heaviness and kind of a sadness, had moved, had shifted. Yeah, just like, it's just so beautiful to be able to actually sit with and handle the emotions, because that's a scary one for me. That's a scary one for me. And to just have this space to sit with it and then to just whew, feel it shift was like really, really lovely. So that was my experience.
I thank you. And just as a reflection on that, we have a lot of difficult stuff we need to sit with individually and collectively. And like once we name it, it will shift, it will morph. But if you don't name it, it'll stay the same, right?
Yeah.
So glad you had that experience. Um, Jayanti, I saw your hand up, and then Jax, I saw you. Thank you, Andrea. Good to see you.
Yes, you as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been doing a lot of scrolling because I don't want to deal with my emotions. So I've been checking out. And basically the emotion that I've been feeling is worry, a lot of worry about
Yeah.
the political things, as well as um just like it's like a lot of stuff. I'm writing a yoga teacher training manual for a studio that I work at, and it is, I'm sure you can imagine, it is such a daunting task. And I'm like,
Yeah.
am I really good enough to do that? So doubt, worry, all those things that, as we know, I know I'm preaching to the choir, are enemies to our spiritual development. So then what do? I pick up my phone and oh, look at these lions on YouTube attacking people who are going through the drive-through safari with their windows open, or whatever the thing is that I get caught up in.
Right.
So, and I know that rain meditation. So thank you for reminding me and to bringing me back here so I can deal with it. I don't have to go scrolling. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to hear that. And listen, scrolling has its place, but not for hours.
No.
No, and I'm not saying that about you, but like I
Oh,
know
you can say that about me.
no. Right. I've been saying like we all have like it's easy and it's cultural, and like this class specifically is a reminder that we can sit with hard things and have the capacity, especially in community, to alchemize what we don't want to deal with, because we ain't alone in that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to see you. Jax, what you got, family?
That was interesting. That was an interesting exercise for me. I just had to say that um, I it took me a while to get to the strongest feeling, which right now is I have a feeling of disappointment. Um, my life is changing again, and I thought it was
Okay.
settled, and I hadn't allowed myself to express that yet. And in the
Okay.
meditation, it came up very strongly, like, oh, this is the one. This is the one that you're avoiding. So, yeah. I don't doom scroll. I try to stay on the comedy skits and stuff, the funny stuff on it. But that's my form of doom scrolling, is and just realizing that. So stuff to do there. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm glad that it's, even if it's daunting, to name it, you're like, okay, this is what I'm working with. I've done this before. I was like, I still don't like what I'm working with, but I can name you, and I can do the resourcing, or I can choose not to deal with it too, right? Like but you know what you're dealing with, and that kind of puts parameters around it as opposed to being overwhelming, you know. So thank you, Jax. Anyone else, dear ones, care to offer anything into our lovely space? Going once, going twice. I feel like the count. One, two, three, blah. So, can you tell I got in trouble for mimicking as a child? Like, it wasn't what I said. It was the affect I had for my parents. It was, they love it now, but it sucked as a teenager because I would just riff and like mimic my folks, and they'd hate me, but whatever. Not hate me, but I would just be in trouble. So thank you all for being in community for this exercise. I would love for the nation, quite honestly, to be honest with themselves about what we're all holding and carrying. Because someone asked me last week at the healing retreat for Black men, they were just like, Reggie, can you imagine a world where thousands of Black men are doing this? I'm like, yes. That's why I'm doing this, fam. Like I see visions, right? I got this. So I also hold that same vision for our collective healing. If we would all stop running away from these things and turn towards them as a community with love and grace, it won't eliminate everything, but it will make it better, because you can't run away from these things. Like emotions, especially the difficult ones, just want to be acknowledged. And then when you acknowledge them, there's plenty of space for joy, because there's a lot of things to be excited about right now. There are a lot of things to be upset about too. But holding space for what you're upset with allows you to name them, shift them, so that when the joy comes, you aren't necessarily like, oh, like smashed by those feelings. You've got the capacity to hold space for both. And that's what the unleashed heart is, right? The unleashed heart has capacity, and compassion like makes that possible. So I want to thank you all for being here in community. And what I'm going to do now is just have a guiding meditation out. Play that harmonic tune that I played, and then we'll just fade away. So love and gratitude for each of you being here. Love and gratitude to those of you who watch this on tape. That's how old I am. Tape. They watch this video. It's like this is Betamax or VHS. So for those of you that watch the recording, love and grace too. Allow yourself to come back to one last comfortable posture. Feel into the collective lightening that has taken place. And again, after focusing so much time on ourselves, perhaps you wish this feeling of connectedness and light to someone else. It can be a specific individual. It can be the entire world. And notice how when you do the work for yourself, how easy it is to hold space for somebody else. We're all in this together, whether we like it or not. So for the 12 of us here, for the next moment or two, just allow yourself to send these good wishes, this lightening of spirit, this loving awareness to anyone that crosses your mind, anyone that crosses your heart. Because if they cross your heart and mind at this moment, that means they need it. May this sound bring peace to you and peace to all those who we've held space for in this practice. And may the merit of our practice be to the benefit of all beings. I bow before each of you with gratitude for the chance to be of service. So Diane, Karen, Keisha, Patricia, Andrea, Deb, Mushim, Jax, and Jennifer, love and grace. Lovely to see your face. Until next time. Mwah. Peace.